and the first operator bans are showing up on your screen. And Team One, they really keep throwing these specific target bans towards DarkZero because they've banned Thermite of all operators on Clubhouse. Thatcher follows up shortly after.
Thermite's prominence on this map is quite high. He's one of the more favorable hard breachers that get brought out, but teams will use any of the 4 that are available at their disposal, especially if you're attacking on that bottom floor. Hibana is going to be brought more often than not, but we've seen teams bring both Ace and Thermite as the 2 hard breachers for a basement execute. Of course, Thermite is going to be a very strong operator when you want to open up that jacuzzi wall, when you want to open up the CCTV wall, and you can use them on the church wall down below as well. Bar Stage has been played a number of times. Its pick rate continues to rise as this event goes on. Operator bans are in, and you made some noise because that target ban on attack from Team One is answered by a target ban on defense of Vigil. The other 2 operators banned out are Thatcher and Kaid.
So this is like really early theory crafting. The Vigil is obviously like the what we call the SSG basement roam. Like yes, SSG is in the server, they're not here, but most teams have a very similar strat that kind of was made, inspired from that, where you do a basement defense and you roam up above. Vigil is used there quite frequently. The same thing for Thermite. Normally when you play Clubhouse, you will put mute jammers on all the exterior walls, and I wouldn't be surprised if Dash on this basement defense will do just that. Go up, reinforce off server, or reinforce off jacuzzi, and slap a jammer on it. And that's where Thermite comes into play. Because Thatcher is banned, you have no easy way to get through that wall besides Maverick. Because Thermite, he can just rappel upside down on the outside wall, put down the extra Thermite charge, and because the mute jammer range isn't big enough, you can just open up that wall in 5 seconds. Because Thermite is gone, that option is no longer at our disposal, and as Dash reinforces this wall, and supposedly or hopefully puts down the jammer as well, that's going to burn a little bit more time for the attackers as you're forced to go in that gym window and therefore get a line of sight onto the wall, then take out the jammer. And yeah, it's only 10-15 seconds of difference, but honestly, at this level of play, every single second matters.
I mean, look at some of the teams that have had 2-3 seconds left.
Yep.
And a round is so winnable, but even 1 or 2 more seconds makes the difference between victory and defeat. So 10 to 15 seconds is an eternity when it comes to Rainbow Six. Very first defense for Team One, who start the first 6 rounds on defense, will be down below on Church and Arsenal. Overall, Clubhouse is a coin toss, coin flip map. 49% of the rounds won by the defense, 51% of the rounds won by the attackers here at the Charlotte Major. So about as close statistically as you can get other than 50-50. Church and Arsenal, equally close, 51% in favor of the defenders, 49% of the time won by the attackers. So again, there's no real given as to whether or not Team One or DZ have an advantage here, unless you think the operator bans will play some part in this bomb site.
I mean, the thing is, obviously, these operator bans will affect both teams equally. And sure, like Team One, they knew they were going to ban the Thermite individual, so they can plan around that. But I don't think it's going to be a game breaker, so to speak. And in this opening round right now that we see DC making relatively quick work off the map. They've cleared up most of top floor. They're now on the first floor itself, and they can start working the hatches. Kitchen hatch being opened up 2 pellets at a time. You do that because in case the defenders are impact tricking, you won't be losing any more pellets than necessary. And while that's going on, you have Canadian on the block with that secondary harbridge gadget, the can opener, opening up the moto hatch instantaneously. So the Kaid ban from DarkZero really means that the basement bomb site is widely accessible very quickly, and that's going to give you enough time to truly use that second stage of the round, this setup. Because that's where we're finding ourselves. Hyper droning up blue. Meanwhile, we're droning down the bottom main stairs, droning down the kitchen hatch. We're gaining information that we can strike true when we choose exactly where that is. Pambasu.
He knows that there's somebody rotating into blue, but Eclipse can't deal too much damage. But look at Pambasu! It's his world that we're living in, and Panda, baby! A huge three-piece by Panda to start off this map. What a round by DarkZero, they're up 1-0. That's the start that you want to set the tone here in a third and pivotal map for both of these teams. This is essentially a best of one at this point.
It is.
And DZ started off with some fireworks. Panbazoo seeing the bottom main stairs, watches the Malusi pass. Great patience. Gets into the bomb site while the rest of his team mop up in and around Moto and Blue. Panbazoo gets 3 big kills. Technically 4 because he got the down that was taken away. Almost an ace to start things off. Either way, I don't think Pamba's sweating over those kills because DarkZero got the result that they wanted.
Absolutely, and I mentioned earlier how Clubhouse, you know, you can't play as loose as on Theme Park, just kind of walking around for no purpose, no reason. And you might be like, well, Pamba did just say he walked down the long corridor and just found 4 kills. That's absolutely random and absurd. But it wasn't just Panbazoo. People dropped down the kitchen hatch. Blue was under attack at the same time. Panda was actually thriving in the chaos, playing around his teammates, and the fact that Team 1 didn't have any information operators, and that's why immediately in the second following round, Dash is on the Valkyrie. They want to make sure they can cover these areas, well, as much as possible, because they don't want that to happen any time again. Of course, the bandit from Dot's not going to be massively effective because there is a Maverick on the board and in play from Eclipse, but you pick up the bandit just to stall out that time, force the Maverick to be used, and just again, to buy those valuable seconds that we spoke about earlier. And almost a minute has passed. They haven't started Maverick torching this wall just yet, and sure, Hybrid's there to follow up, so you could use the sabotage if you want to, but then now you're very low on heartbeat utility for the rest of the map.
But the good news is that Maverick remains unbanned, so Eclipse can cut through that reinforcement. Any bandit batteries or mute jammers on the other side picked off. Holes go both ways. We have to say this every time. So if you want to be particularly bold, you can sit and fire back on the defenders through that opening. Team 1 doesn't want to do that, though. They're allowing clear passage into that CCTV component. A Flores drone takes out the deployable shield at the top of red stairs. If DZ tries to take main floor control and soldier their way up those same stairs, there's 2 sets of barbed wire that'll slow them down, and if somebody from Team 1's playing at the top, they can very easily swing. Second time for Canadian to get his Flores drone in. The Rotero drone goes. It's a great value so far that we've seen, as Canadian uses it onto the soft wall, creating an opening. Maya will be the one pressured on Garage Catwalk, and there's still a Rotero drone for DZ. Last one going in now, more destruction to come, but it gets shot away by Dots. Well played, rebuffed. 1 minute to go.
A little bit worried for the time here, because they still got to clear out Maya inside the garage. They've already spent some of their utility. 2 grenades off Panbazoo is gone, but got 4 more combined between NGR and Eclipse. They gotta work that garage wall though, because it hasn't, well, it is an angle, but it isn't really a great one at that. NGR has rotated, and this Dash could get in trouble. And he does. Panbazoo finds another. This is 5th kill so far in the second round.
Well, it really is his world, and we're just living in it. Maya is still atop of the rafters and isolated. Pamba's gonna watch that position. Maya pops up the wrong way. This could be trouble. The grenades get caught. Both of them go in. Down goes Dots, and Maya outduels Pamba before getting down himself. NJR to capitalize. Up the stairs, Lagonis gets back into the bomb site. It's the 2 remaining SAS operators for Team 1 to hold against the tides of DZ. There's an adrenal surge that went before Panda died, so it gives a bit more staying power. Lagonis can pull out the shotgun at any point, play this tight angle. He's the last man standing, takes 1, tried it out immediately. DarkZero snag round 2. So far, Team 1 not able to get on the board.
You see in the final moments, DC waited for Eclipse to rotate from the garage door up onto the CCTV balcony, so that when Diffuser walked into the bomb site that was Hyper, there's a follow-up, there's a trade. DC playing much closer together and not really exposing themselves to those 1v1s that they did before, and it's really working for them. They're also, of course, finding opening kills and finding map control, because Panbazoo, in these first 2 rounds back-to-back, has created that space for them, taken that control and shut down Team 1. Garage and the time on the clock was a bit concerning because Maya was still there on the Wamai, but when you just plow through the opponents, the time, well, you only need 20 or so seconds, and that's gonna force Team 1 to go back to where they began on the basement bomb site with a few changes. A more aggressive lineup, if you will. The Mossy, of course, to assist the mute jammers, to slow down DarkZero and, you know, remove their vision on those drones. Lagonis and Elysian, goo mines for information, and again to slow down DarkZero when they come into contested areas. And of course, the information game from Valkyrie that really fell apart in that first round to make sure Panda doesn't walk into the bomb site again. They are trying hard to adapt to what DarkZero are doing. We have to watch DarkZero just continue up that same trend, if Panda will just keep on walking through the opponents, or if they will be the ones to adapt to Team 1's adaptation.
Because this is that coin flip map, as we talked about, where it can break either way, there is only one bomb site that is decidedly in favor of the defense. It's bar and stage.
Surprise.
Who I said his pick rate has been going up and up and up. I would be curious to see if Team One will go there. Sitting at 67% of the time, it breaks in favor of the defenders. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, though, because Church and Arsenal still remains that 51-49 splits. First round, I'm sure you all remember, it was only a couple minutes ago. Pamba broke in and killed everybody. End analysis. Very simple stuff.
Very accurate as well.
The changes from Team One, I like very much. Again, this roster that comes in, it's a new roster. Lagonis is the last man from that major squad that won the major, rather, back in Mexico, the Mexican squad. This time around, the flexibility that comes allows them to change on the fly. We'll see it, and we have seen it before, and we'll see it again when it comes to attacker repick. Teams that have deep rosters where you've got support players that can frag well, or depending on the map, an entry might play more support-oriented, tends to benefit the team quite a lot. 1:30 approaching. It's DZ of their hard breach hard at work. Only one this time around. No Maverick being brought. Thermite banned, of course. No ace on the board. It's all on the shoulders of Canadian.
And mind you that Team One, they are roaming quite aggressively. 2 members, actually make that 3 members, but they're not in areas that DC cares about right now. It's more of a direct attack, dirt tunnel, kitchen hatch. They have the Nomad on Eclipse that can lock down those flanks. They have really good drone network that we saw earlier that can ensure that maybe no flanks come through, but Maya finds Hyper, IQ off the board. That's not boding well for them.
Hyper was trying to hunt down some of those Valkyrie cameras up at kitchen as well. I don't know where he fell. NJR's next to go. Team One showing that they are still very much in this and will not let DZ bully them. Pambazoo on the ground, 5 kills to his name. 2 very flashy rounds so far that have enabled his team to win. Of a test of reflexes. As Maya's getting pressured, Mike from the back gets shot away and doesn't exactly know where those tracers are, but the Jackal's position now been given away. Eclipse will look to pinch from blue. A heavy numbers advantage for Team One in a 5v3. Not a lot of information, even though there's still 6 drones that are on the field for DarkZero. Not a lot available for them to use. Here comes the killing for them. Dash down, Pambazoo traded out. Eclipse from the back, and he's got an opening as well, but Maya will have to go through their own laser gate. Can't do it! Eclipse stabs him in the back. Lagonis in a clutch 1v2. Things not working out in their favor. Diffuser going down, Canadian for oversight. Lagonis knows where the bomb is, knows where the diffuser is, can't get to it in time. Eclipse pulls it off, 45 seconds. Team One looking for their first round, still unachievable. This bomb site, a deliberate attempt. Lagonis has a lot of work to be done. Edging ever closer to the diffuser, but not closer to either of the players who have now scrambled away from the diffuser. Peeking towards blue, they know he's there. A nice shot onto Eclipse, good lord, Lagonis. And right onto the diffuser, daring a 1v1 against Canadian, daring a 1v1 against Canadian, and he gets it in the last second. Good lord, take a sigh of relief, DarkZero. You're up 3-0, Canadian saves it at the last second.
Lagonis really showing the GOAT in his name for a brief moment there, but it wasn't enough. And DC, time and time again, in those 1 versus 2s, have the discipline to pull through. If you noticed, Eclipse was on the bomb site early alone, and he waited for Canadian to sprint across the map from kitchen hatch all the way to blue, so he could drop down and cover while they planted. They took the seconds necessary to ensure the plant went down, and that is why they ended up winning the round. And with that, a 3-0 lead once again, applying so much pressure upon Team One that they're forcing out their tactical timeout very early on, well, the defensive side of all things. Normally, this is where you thrive. On some maps, Clubhouse is a coin flip 50-50 or coin toss 50-50. It's not heavily favored in either direction, but that doesn't mean that you're expecting yourself or is willing to go, well, following the scoreline on a 3-0. Frustration and a bit of worry if you're Team One.
Well, this is shaping up to be a bit of a blowout at the moment. Team One have won a single round since round 2 of Theme Park. It's been,
time ago.
Well, if you figure that each of those rounds are about 3-ish minutes, plus the break in between, bathroom breaks, all that jazz, it's been about an hour since they last won a round. That's got to be particularly debilitating. Before the matchup, we talked about how adrenaline is going to kick in. You literally fly from Brazil to Charlotte, Very limited sleep, if any sleep at all, for this Team One group. The 3 players who are here, they're going to be excited. Playing in front of a crowd for the first time in years. They've obviously played in front of crowds in Brazil, but never in an international capacity like this. Eventually, fatigue is going to catch up to you. Eventually, that adrenaline's going to wear off, and just the mental game becomes even harder than whatever game you're playing in the server. That is a massive advantage to DarkZero. And I don't know if fatigue is starting to play in with Team One, but that could certainly be a culprit, as things have not looked great for this team over the last 15 rounds of play or so.
You're right, and the thing about best of 3 is that it challenges you as a team and as an individual player in different ways. At best of 1, you can hide your map pool, play the same 4 maps with comfortability and familiarity. When it comes to best of 3s, you're going to be forced into some maps you don't really want to play. And while Theme Park might have been that map for Team 1, Clubhouse might currently be that map for Team 1 because they don't look very confident or comfortable within the server. Fatigue or not, they need to play more together and try and find these moves that Dash is pulling out every single round to try and get back into this. There we go. That's better.
That's the right one. One thing to note, after the timeout taken by Team One, they'll go to the bomb site with the lowest win rate for defenders, which is Jim and Master. Played so far 24 times, and it has swapped those numbers around, a 42% win rate for the defense. So not a lot of good options for Team One. Again, the 2 favorable bomb sites are Church and Arsenal downstairs, of which Team One is 0-2 on, or that bar stage defense, which they have not brought out just yet.
Oh, with a standoff. Dash and NGR once again finds themselves nearby each other, and they both have a pretty good idea of what's going on.
It's a premonition here. He sees the body for a second. Adrenal Surge called out by NJR. Sees him again. Namira just continuing to do battle. Will open some of it up. Dash is in trouble. Wasting the time of the buck. And around the corner, completely blind. Easy first pick for DarkZero. They want to storm towards 4-0. That pick's a good place for them to be.
Also, to be honest, a clinical version or way of doing that for NGR. And Dash, who looked like the best player in this server between both teams, now 0-4 and getting outplayed in that 1 versus 1. That's normally Team 1's way into these rounds. But right now, he's actually quite a big of a problem for them.
Utility worked great as well. Mirror window inside a bathroom, gone. Jacuzzi opened up. Banshee at the top of main stairs, also gone. Bandit batteries shaken off of the walls. Rotero drones just blowing this bomb site up as another Adrenal Surge goes in. Dot slaughtered by NJR from below. Sees the Tracers. Outduels Maya. Somehow pulls that one off. Now it's the bonus to go. NJR cleaning up. And an ace denied for a flawless round for DarkZero in response to Team One's timeout.
All right. It seems like it's just, DC's time to take turns in these rounds. Panda opens it up. Then NTR cleans it up on round 4 with that opening kill into Dash. 3 more to follow, 4 currently round. Canadian finds the last remaining member, and it's a 4-0 as Team 1 are going through every bomb site possible, with the exception of a bar, and not finding any success at all. And they're gonna go back to CCTV. Last time, that didn't go out either. I mean, there was a 3 versus 1 situation. DC went to 3 people left standing. They could have planted. They had full map control. And again, the early round for DC, utilizing their drones and setting up that network to gather all this information, knowing the positions of Team 1, is really putting them on the map because they're being able to find that first opening kill, which they've gotten every single round but one so far in Clubhouse.
CCTV is the defense now for Team One. Still 2 more attempts before this half is in the books. Again, because this is a map that is so close, 49 to 51%, this should be about a 3-3 scoreline. You're not going to get there. Team One can still try to salvage the half, pick up 2 key rounds for them. CCTV did not go in their favor, obviously. No bomb site has. Last time, DarkZero worked quickly to open up Garage, took out the Valkyrie playing down below, isolated Maya up top, took out the defense that was positioned at the top of red. It was almost surgical by DarkZero. The Team One that showed up on Cafe has been absent for the last 2 maps. And it's a troubling position to be in for them because they need some spark. And if the spark doesn't come, Team One won't catch fire. DZ will continue the snowball rolling down the hill, rolling down the mountain as it is right now. 30 seconds off of the clock. Discovery phase underway. Canadian creeping in through Dirt Tunnel as Jackal. Most of Team 1 looks positioned upstairs in the surrounding areas around the bomb site, extended out over to Logistics and Master.
It's starting to become a staple of DC for Canadian to pick up the Jackal and just walk in somewhere on the map all alone. Of course, NTR is his turn last round and it worked well in their favor, so it could work again. As Canadian makes his way up the blue stairs, could find an opponent soon. Well, he has the scanner, so he'll know their whereabouts. There's a guy nearby, it's Valkyrie. It's Dash, who's roaming around trying to find an enemy of his own, but no combat contention just yet.
Because those footprints are red, he knows that there's another player nearby, this one on the oNe, and he'll get the read on it. You know that Maya's in that position. That shouldn't surprise you if you're DarkZero. The one big difference, there's no Flores this time. This was a staple operator for DZ when they took this bomb site. Nitro cell from Dots is perfect. Down goes Eclipse. Nice start for Team 1. The Maverick will not be able to chew away at any more of that wall, but the job looks to be done at this point. Impact goes out. Looks like it might have taken the Selmas.
They got it. Somehow, some way, they got it, and there's no more Selmas left, so this wall can't really get opened up. That means that DC are now in trouble as Maverick's taken off the board. They have to work their way through either master bedroom construction or straight through garage, neither of which is a good idea.
DZ still have drones at their disposal and one in the pocket if they need to. Adrenal Surge goes out. Maya has shifted over towards the rotate and the window of CCTV wall on Catwalk. Right now, not gonna get up at all. But a grenade goes out and now that gets Maya, pops up, Panbazoo goes down, more for Maya. 2 huge kills from Maya. Absolutely just shutting the door on DarkZero, taking control of Garage. DZ outnumbered, outmanned, outgunned, allowing Team 1 with these final 30 seconds to sit on their 4 players and await the diffuser in the hands of NJR and Hyper to cover. Team 1 just need to sit pretty. They know there's a buck in close proximity, and guess what? Dots is right there for 1, not good enough for 2. NJR is, though. He hops in, knows that Tracer's on the top of red is the position of 1, but he can't outduel Lagonis. Team 1 finally pick up a round. Confidence inspiring. And DZ looked like they themselves lacked information, something that had not been hard to come by those previous 4 rounds.
Yeah, and it really comes down to how much time and trouble it took him to open up this wall with Maverick. And also, I'm not sure what happened to those Selma charges because every single wall is basically closed. And when Maverick's available to you, you should never get bandit tricked ever. A tiny hole on the bottom of the wall will deny the bandit. I mean, Kite is banned. There's no realistic way that the round should have gone the way it did, but sometimes that is just how things go. CCTV defended successfully, takes us to the basement for the 3rd time for the Team 1 squad with the same similar lineup it did the 2nd time, aka the last time they tried this, where, well, it didn't really work out for them. It was a flawless round for DC and they made easy work of it. Actually, it was 2v1. It wasn't a flawless round. It's a clutch for Canadian is what it was.
Yes, it was.
It was.
Back downstairs, Team 1 is going to go. Very final defense will be Church and Arsenal. 3rd time's a charm. Has not worked out in their favor, though the first time was that Pamba clutch.
Yes.
DZ dominance. 2nd time, much closer, as you talked about, that 2v1 that ended up becoming a 1v1. To the miraculous shot onto Eclipse. Canadians saved it with a hair off on that diffuser, just a nanosecond.
Very close.
Very, very close. If that trend continues, then Team 1 will pick up a 2nd round. Suddenly, we have ourselves a matchup. Is this an attacker-sided clubhouse? That's the question that needs to be answered, or is DZ just the superior team? Because again, if 3-3 is the scoreline that you expect, even if DarkZero loses this half 4-2, a 3-3 scoreline gives them the match. No overtime needed.
It does. I mean, looking at it, you know, from a top-down view right now, when you got both Maverick and Hibana open, I have to say that I feel like it is an attacker-favorite map if you can put those utilities to use the right way, which so far, with the exception of 1 round, DC has done that. And the one time they messed up that strategical aspect, that's when Team 1 won. So I do think there's a very good chance for this to turn around once that side swap comes, well, after this last defense.
Flash on the rise on blue stairs. IQ has been a necessity for DarkZero on almost every attacking half they've had because of the information game that Team 1 has been running so successfully. Valkyrie's been a mainstay, but you've also got those bulletproof cameras, you've got Maestros that have been played, you've got mirrors that have been played. All of this to try to give a leg up to Team 1 as to where DZ is coming from, and in a lot of rounds it's worked. DZ have to respond accordingly, and IQ is a suboptimal pick for a lot of teams' lineups. They want more explosives, maybe more firepower. It puts DZ in a bit of a box.
Does in the same like straight limited take from DC, and Team 1 are roaming around the main stairs trying to look for an opening, but so far playing the game patiently, not knowing the exact whereabouts of the flank watchers of DarkZero, not knowing where the drones are either, but they're looking for this opportunity.
Dash will engage, still searching for his first kill. Maya was above as well in weight room. 2 players from Team 1 holding down the fort down below. A potential third might join. Your cameras to give information. Final moments. Sluggish round for both teams. Canadian gives his positioning away as he just narrowly misses out on the legs of one of the players of Team 1. They scoot into Church. Now it's Hyper over towards Blue, but again, no real information. DarkZero don't have a ton of drones at their disposal. Pamazoo looks in the wrong direction, flicks over. Lagonis wins the duel. Now down goes Dash. 2 kills for DZ. They come out on top. Lagonis now is the one to die as Canadians on the hatch. Eclipse getting the diffuser down, and it's playing keep away for DarkZero. Don't let either players for Team 1 even close. 45 seconds for DarkZero to take their 5th round. Or Team 1 to try to keep this one as close as they can, but it doesn't look close at all. Nick rises inside a Church with unkill. A second kill cannot be found. Eclipse, after planting the diffuser, takes matters into his own hands. First half, DZ 5-1.
Now plant another round win, and that is a 5-1 half. We don't see this very often, we don't. But when you work out the attacks the way you do, it was an unfortunate injury from Panther not checking down that final back end of the Room of Armory. But in the end, the follow-up is there because when one person from DarkZero walks in towards the bomb site, every single member steps up to the challenge and follows along. So it's all about this concept of you can either have 2 scenarios. You can have no plan and, you know, fall apart as a team, or even if you have a bad plan, as long as every single member follows along, it's not that bad at all because you're on the same page. And that really is something that anyone can learn from. Defending side, bringing out some unique operator we have yet to see so far in Clubhouse. Mira, as well as the Goyo of all operators in Clubhouse and Pambasu. While the side of Team 1, well, they're bringing out that stable core, bringing out, you know, 3 Harbingers currently, if you count Maverick, with both Ace and Ibala to follow up. And Dash, as you mentioned, yet to find a kill right now. That's gotta feel bad. So we need to see something from him starting to come out on the attacking side, because otherwise we're playing 4 versus 5. That's not a fair game.
5 seconds to go.
Tail of the tape for the first half, shall we? DarkZero obviously wins 5-1. The only round that Team 1 triumphed on was back in round number 5. A tactical timeout from Team 1 was burned after round 3. DarkZero still has their timeout available. In terms of opening picks, DZ had 3 undisputed opening picks, 2 for Team 1 in the final round, round 6. It was essentially a trade. 2 diffusers planted by DZ, both in the same bomb site of Church as well, which is now the bomb site that DZ goes to on their very first defense.
It's true.
So there was a Goyo canister placed on the barricade leading into dirt. So you try to make your advances through there, and guess what? You've got 20 seconds to wait and a big explosion that will let the defenders know of where you're coming from.
The reason why that canister is so nice is because, yeah, as you said, once you open the barricade, the fire spreads, but also it spreads in towards the dirt tunnel because of the line of sight. If you put it like next to the wall, or next to the door rather, it will only spread in towards the bomb site itself. So a little bit of a utilization of Goyo there. DC, of course, having roaming presence in similar fashion set of Team 1 when they were on the defensive side. C4 goes out. No damage done. Hyper stays alive. Again, not a lot of information right now for DC in the roaming game. They're just guessing as to where Team 1 might be playing.
They know that there's a roam upstairs over in weight room because the player from Team 1 who was by the stairs window. So if you can isolate Hyper, find him, kill him, you've managed to buy yourself a ton of time on that roam clear. But look at this, Nitro Cell from Pambazu goes on to Maya. Dash is on the hunt. 2 players from DZ within striking distance. Dash does not have a single kill yet. Will it break? Yes, it will. NJR is his back turned, and now Hyper will get the call. But Hyper thinks there's one inside a Master. How wrong he is. Dash instead on the main stairs. Maybe they thought that Hyper was the player above. Hyper is still in this spot, undetected.
He is going to do a lot of damage here. Can have dropped the hatch to flank the main stairs, and Dash has no idea. Look at this, he's creeping up. It's a free kill.
Dash is looking downstairs. Oh no. Dash just gets off a drone, and nicely done to catch the kill onto Dash.
Oh!
And a vault out from Hyper, and another one there, but Dots gets it done. Maybe not the best play from Hyper, but you take out the Hibana, you've still got 2 hard breachers from Team 1 available. What trouble can you get up to? The Buck getting into position to tear through some of the floor. They need Rise to give as many lines of sight to the basement as possible. That's exactly what that Skeleton Key is going to do for the next 30 seconds.
You got mirror windows and Goyo fire canisters. You can buy so much time and lines of sight of your defenders. 1C4 and Canadian. You got the tools, you got the manpower. 3v3 with sub 20 seconds left.
And a reposition from both players inside a church now. Panbazoo holding onto the mirror window. The Goyo shield will go. That kept Dots at bay. Out goes some of the wall. Down goes Rise. DZ finding their mark. Lagonis in a 1v2. He needs to get the diffuser, which he doesn't have access to, but no time at all. It's a hopeless endeavor. Match point, series point for DarkZero.
Getting close. After a slow start, we have found ourselves in a position of power, if you're a fan of DarkZero, because we are storming through these rounds, even when Team 1 gets the opening. Don't get the end.
I was wondering when they'd start the chance again.
6-1. They're finally feeling confident enough to believe that DarkZero might actually win this.
DZ's up 6-1, and the crowd, who are very firmly behind DarkZero, seem quite reluctant to cheer, as if they're going to curse them. You said, how do you get rid of a curse? I don't know. Don't cheer. Pretty simple. The scores on these maps have been absolute blowouts. A 7-3 on map 1. Team 1 stunning us with how dominant their performance was. DZ does the same thing to Team 1 on Theme Park, 7-3 as well. Now, it's 6-1. Every round goes both ways because of how close the stats are on Clubhouse. So it's not like we look at it and we say, okay, DarkZero's on defense. They're absolutely going to finish this 7-1. But DarkZero have looked like they are defying all of the odds. Whatever curse that people think has been put on DarkZero at LAN events, seemingly in the shadow of most North American teams, DarkZero gets slept on quite often, but this is a performance for the ages for them. If they triumph in this round, they'll go up against Team Liquid in the semifinals. Liquid putting in a clinic against G2 in the earlier match.
I was gonna say, if DC does go against Liquid, you can't start the same way against Liquid as you did against Team 1, because they will not let you get away with it.
No, absolutely not. Liquid is a team that is more than capable of punishing you for the smallest mistake. DZ had enough of them in Cafe that Team 1 made quick work of the match.
Since then, things have changed. Right now, even when Team 1 actually makes the right play and gets the advantage, they just somehow can't end up getting the round victory, because some way, somehow, every time a member of DC just steps up to that challenge, finds 2 kills, makes a big play, and evens back the score. And on this match point situation, when pressure is at its highest, it's no different. Team 1 has to do something and be the one to act.
It's DZ's turn to bring some information this time around. They're going to have access to the 2 Maestro cameras. Only one remaining, though. Eclipse's bubble, as you called it, the Maestro cam that was next to the B-bomb chassis. Well, it's removed by a single Rotero drone of Dash. Incredibly good value. Maestro only gets 2 of those cams. 4 Rotero drones from Flores. Can easily find both of them and then use it on whatever they'd like. Maybe getting rid of the bandit batteries on the bathroom wall, maybe getting rid of any of the deployable shields that are around. Right now there's 1 in play, and that's the alibi of NJR who set it up. Halfway point of the round, Team 1 still mostly on the roof, looking for a way into this gym and bedroom bomb site. Team 1 on the razor's edge as DarkZero have match point from here till overtime. This is a commanding spot for the North American squad to be in.
Yep. The intensity is rising because no one's dying, no one's taking confrontations. We're waiting, droning out, using those with terror drones with damage, destroying some soft utility, but a gunfight goes in favor. Team 1 is NJR is very low on HP, but stays alive. No healing left for him. That means that now Team 1, they can strike true against him.
And Team 1's just going to rush right in, take the engagement to DarkZero. The killing begins. Lagonis is the first one. This is the command that they want. They found the Maestro as well. 2 for Lagonis, 1 for Dash. Team 1 emerges from that scuffle in great shape. Canadian knows there's one on the hatch, but he has to get towards the bomb site. A body on the top of the stairs and a spam ping inside. He needs better target prioritization. damage being done to Dots, but Hyper as well will need to get in too, out-dueled by Dash. It looks like match point is good for DZ, but not good enough to give them the round. They'll have to wait longer. Team One pick up their second round on Clubhouse.
And look at that, when Team One actually goes in with confidence and takes those initiations, that's when they succeed. Unfortunately, I will say, it's Lagonis, the support player IGL of his team, that has to kind of take that reins on the aggressive side of it. You'd expect your support player to be in the very far back, but most often than not, or more often than not, when Team One is actually going for these aggressive plays, you'll find Lagonis pretty much in the front, leading the charge, saying, I've already used my heart breach. When we go for this execute, the round will either be won here or be lost. So I don't have to really play so much for myself. I can just allow you guys to thrive by taking that first combat, and it worked for them. 6-2 now, as they find a bit more confidence on Clubhouse.
CCTV upstairs, the bomb site for round number 9. Has the same win rate for the defense as the bomb site for round number 8, which is gym and bedroom, both sitting at 42% of the time, going in favor of the defense. Even if DZ blow this round, it'll be a 6-3 scoreline, with DarkZero going back downstairs to the much more favorable bomb site of Church and Arsenal. So that's your saving grace. No team is necessarily looking at it. It's not like DarkZero made an executive decision to lose here and then go to Church Arsenal when it opens up. DZ also still have their timeout. Team One used theirs back in round number 3, between it and round 4. It didn't really work out. I mean, it got them around in round 5, and that was about it. Team One have had some troubles on attack and some troubles on defense. Their attacker lineup looking eerily similar to what we had before. Afinka being brought in to give them maybe a little bit of a boost, a bit of a top-up, favoring that Maverick and Ace combo for Hardfish. Another key point will be Flores. Dash used Flores exceptionally well in the previous round. Tons of value, opening up soft walls, lines of sight, getting Maestro cameras, and some areas on the floor so they can play beneath.
Oh, that's a lot of damage. Impact's gone out from one player, more to come from NJR as well. I will say DC made the executive decision to actually keep 2 walls and garage soft, reinforce those in office to construction instead. Bit of a different approach than what we see normally, and there's the Terror Drone. Value you spoke of, goes in, gets a ton of information, gets annihilated. Doesn't go further than that, but it still sees it a little bit off the bomb side. Hyper, of course, playing on the catwalk rafters, and a very important position for him. And Dash will just send another Terror Drone in and see what he can find with that one.
There's 2 lurkers underneath the bomb site at the moment, one of which is Panbazoo. That's the Oryx playing at the bottom of Red Stairs, controlling Lounge, but Canadian is also over by Billiards and now heads through Bar. 2 drones just a moment ago from Team One. It's scooted by. I don't think Canadian was spotted by either of them, so this could be up to Team One to figure him out. If not, the element of surprise very much in the back pocket of DarkZero.
Just made it past the first drone. He might actually have the chance to flank on this one. They have no idea.
There's no anti-flank as well from Team One, no Gridlock, no Nomad. They know that there's one player from Team One inside of logistics. Is there a bodyguard, an escort? Dots will go back on. This is what Canadian needs to be wary of. Makes a sound for a second. The Maverick is there. 2 kills from DarkZero. They start this round. 3 kills from them. 4! How about a flawless end to this one? And how about that? DarkZero moved to the semifinals with a flawless round. They dispatched the Brazilian team of Team One 7-2.
Now round ended in a brief moment, 10 seconds if not less. When Trucking and lit the charge, got the first kill, everybody followed up right after. And it's DC who are your victors in the second quarterfinals against Team One. And they have a tough opponent ahead of them, but not today.
That's for tomorrow. DZ of the future will confront Team Liquid. It's a Brazilian path to the finals for DarkZero, should they want to play here on stage on Sunday. They started with Team One. It was a bit shaky, but they managed to find their footing in the second map. Things on Theme Park seemed much easier, and then Clubhouse was over much faster than that. Maybe it just took DarkZero some time to wake up. I'm not entirely certain. That's what the desk is for. But one thing we can agree on is that DarkZero improved as it went on, and they are the second team to beat in the semifinals. We have a break ready for you as the players embrace on stage. We'll be back in just a moment. Sit tight.
and welcome everybody to our brand new podcast.
He's scratching.
Tim had a great name for them if they did give it away yesterday.
Looking for throw.
Even if we're a bit afraid of you, we're not going to lose to you, that's for sure. So bring your horsepowers, you know.
What are all those medals behind you?
I saw that just casually there.
It's right
just,
here.
oh, it's a Mexico major shield.
It is.
So there you have it. Team 1, they disappear. And progressing into your semi-finals, you know who it is, DarkZero. These fans know who it is. Canadian, you were absolutely delighted. I guess that series didn't get off to the best start, but then you found your momentum and things started to pick up for you.
Yeah, I mean, that's how best of threes work. They have a map pick. It's probably their best map. We have our map pick and then decider. So in all likelihood, that's how a best of 3 goes. A team should win their map pick, and then you just got to clutch up on the decider. So we just kind of shrugged it off. I think there were some close rounds. We were kind of shaking off some nerves, maybe. First game on stage for a couple of guys. First game on stage in front of a crowd for a very long time as well. So just kind of shaking that off, and then, yeah, just get into the second map. We knew we were in it the whole time. It was just their map, shake those things off, and then we got second and third map to win.
Hold on a second. There's a crowd here? There's a crowd here backing you? I mean, what does it mean to hear that support? Not just, while you're playing, but just in general. You're back at a Siege LAN.
Yeah, I mean, I know my dumbass plays better. I stink a lot of the time, but something happens. I get in front of a crowd, and I'm just feeling it. So I think the rest of the boys were feeling it as well. After the second map, I know Rob, Pamba, this is his first LAN. He started hearing some DZ chants. He said, "Oh, the crowd's ours, huh?"
That's when you know, right?
Oh, I said, "Yes, sir, they are ours. The crowd is ours."
Look at him. I mean, you've been to the mountaintop before. You know what it takes. How much of your experience do you think is getting across to your players around you?
I think that's easier to ask them than me. Obviously, I'd like to think that it contributes quite a bit, but I do think it's important in these kind of matches, keep us calm, make sure we're focusing on the right things, not kind of lose track of what's important in the match, and making sure that we remain confident because, a lot of other teams, maybe they lose confidence after that first map because kind of got a beat down. But just, remaining confident, remaining kind of calm, and knowing that we're in control of this and that we got those.
Would you say it's fair to say that you've had some doubters leading into this, and are you starting to feel like now that maybe the pieces of this DarkZero jigsaw puzzle are coming together?
Ever since I joined the team, I've been saying it. The whole team's been saying it. We just need time to click, and we've only been constantly improving. And I think this is even just a further example of it. We went from getting grouped in Sweden Major, getting embarrassed there. Then we got second in NAL at the US Finals. Then we got top 8 at Invite, and now we got top 4 at the Major. So constant path of improvement. I think we're learning more and more, finding our identity more and more. So yeah, just constant improvement. We never had any doubt. There's always going to be doubters, though. That's just how it goes. Part of the job, but as long as we know what we're capable of, we know what path we're on, that's all that matters.
Just finally, 2 quick things. I was out in the crowd earlier on and bumped into a few people. There was a certain couple out in the audience that I bumped into. Your mum and dad?
My dad.
Yeah, well, your dad's there, sorry. Dad's out there.
My mom is also out there.
Okay. Yeah. So your dad's out here, and he was going absolutely crazy whenever you were doing anything. And I want to ask you, I think he was trying to make you cringe a little bit. Did he cringe at all?
He does that. Honestly, I think my whole life, the reason I'm as competitive as I am is because I like to shut him up. He used to give me a lot of shit when I was a little kid and yell at me, and my whole goal was to make him shut up. And
it's not working.
No, now he does it for fun. Now he does it for fun, and it's all good. But I still can't. I was shaking my head at him. No, I don't want this. I don't want this. You're not the loud one now.
I love it. Semi-final, Team Liquid. How are you feeling?
I'm excited. I've only played them once, and it was when I was a bit new to the SS3 roster. But they're an incredible team. Obviously we got to be prepared for that. It could go any way, right? We just got to show up, play our game, be prepared, study up on them. I'm sure they're studying up on us. But yeah, I'm excited for it. They're an incredible team. I think everyone's kind of considering them the favorites, so that's kind of the team you want to have a run against, right? We don't want this any easier. We want to take it the hard way.
Well, congratulations. A phenomenal performance from you. The crowd absolutely love you guys, of course. Do you want to give it up for him one more time? All right, you go celebrate, and we will see you tomorrow. Thank you very much, Canadian. Cheers. All right, back to Doa on the desk to wrap this one up.
All right, thank you, Ian. How about that? Canadian and DarkZero getting